Our next project really is Dubai. When we had a deal, we paid our money, we've done all the architect drawings, we got the keys to the site, and we were so excited. Then 3 days later, we get a call, can you come in our offices? I took all the staff to my mate's villa the other day, and he had a no phones policy. And it was amazing. Everyone was talking, having fun, cuddling, laughing, dancing.
Did you finally meet George Michael or Wham?
Yes, I did actually. I met him a couple of times,
Did
George.
you?
Yeah. And they said, do you know him, Tone? And I just went, yeah, of course I do. Didn't never met him before. So I folded over to him, I introduced myself. And
Okay guys, welcome to another edition of The Inspiration. Got a co-host today, Cairo O'Neill, filling in for Mark. So we've been in Ibiza for the last couple of days doing a bit of photo shoot content, working with Chris, our model. It's been class. We've done a wee model casting as well. So happy to introduce my next guest on the podcast, world famous Mr. Ibiza, Tony Truman.
oh, thank you
How
for
are you,
that
mate?
nice intro. Done about world famous.
Yeah, world famous. Boys are a bit hungover today. Eh?
Yeah, I'm struggling a bit today. Probably not the best day for me to do this, but I'm struggling most days in the summer.
Just want to say thanks for letting us come in. Obviously, we're in your main office here with the calendars with the plans for the summer. So it'd be class if you could maybe tell us a wee bit about your business for anybody that doesn't know you.
Well, I'm the founder of O Beach Ibiza, which is probably our most famous business and the catalyst for nearly everything that we do out here. We've got about 22 businesses in our portfolio. Majority are in hospitality, but we have some businesses that probably some people don't even know about, which is quite good because
Sure.
Yes, which is very interesting. I think we diversified quite a lot when COVID happened. We were sort of marching away, doing loads of restaurants and bars and things like that. But then the world come tumbling down as such, didn't it, and everything. So we just had a rethink about what we want to do in the future. So
I'll probably touch on that a bit later about COVID, but how does like this idea come? Like, how do you start in Ibiza? It's so interesting to know that. Like, how many years did you just used to come on here, holidays here as a kid? And
I came here when I was 15 on holiday.
Yeah.
I'd just actually done my first ever party that summer when I was 15 years of age, and that's how this is how I know when I think about now. And if I meet a 15-year-old now, and
well,
I think,
my kid's 16, so now I'm like, if he said to me, "Dad, I'm away to Ibiza," I start like doing parties. I'd be like, "No, you're not."
I must admit, I didn't have that vision of ending up here then or anything like that. I can't take that claim, but I did know I wanted to do parties, and like I say, I just done my first one from being leaving school and stuff like that. Then I came out here. I came out here because of I was a Wham boy at the time. I was into George Michael and Wham, and they just filmed the Club Tropicana video out here at Pikes, and I've done a bit of research. Obviously, there's no internet or anything. I've read all the the smash hits magazines and saw they done it at Pikes and the Coup Club, and I thought, what's this? So I said, Mum, we said we was going on a family holiday. I said, can we go to Ibiza? I want to go and sort of look for this. And she said, yeah, cool, no problem. So we was due to stay in Playa d'Embossa over the other side of the island. That's the hotel I wanted to stay at, but it was full. So we got a hotel in San Antonio in the end. And being 15, I come with my best mate from school, and I come with my mum and dad at the time. And we met these older fellas in the hotel. And they was about 3 or 4 years older than us, which at that young age is quite a big difference. I was like, oh my God, these guys seem to know it all. And they took us, they said, oh, you got to come to this club, come to that club. And they took me to the Coup Club, which is now Privilege, which is now closed down. But that was the place at the time. And they took me there, and I was like, oh my God, this is unbelievable. I thought, this is what I want to do. This great big swimming pool, open air swimming pool club, loads of beautiful women, even though I was only 15. And I was just like, it just blew me away. I suppose it must be like for some kid now meeting their biggest celebrity, but mine at the time was that club. And then I said, I want to go to Pikes and meet Tony Pike and everything. I'd heard about him and George Michael. Went to Pikes, and it was like, wow, this is incredible.
Straight away, you're already networking, aren't you?
Yeah,
like,
I was networking. I literally
like,
was. And I was, Mum, I want to work here. She said, well, you're too young, at least you know what you want to do. So I went home and I'd done a couple more parties, and they just sort of built from there gradually. I was earning no money out of them. It was just like fun, and I never really even envisaged what was in front of me. It was just like living to the next party. And
where are you from back home?
Surrey, which is in southwest London.
Yeah, cool.
So I come from a nice part of there, and
which
is not really known as a mad party place at all.
Sure.
So, but
you had a business over there as well. You got the True Do's that
Well, that was it. That's what I started when I was 15.
And you just took that from that model from here to from there to here.
So it's mad because this year is 40 years of me doing my Trues Twos parties, and coming back, being in Ibiza, hosting them at my own venues and other places on the island. It's like, wow, what a long journey. And it's really funny because a few people have been saying to me the last couple of weeks, you were born 40 years ago. I said, do I look 40? I wish I did. I'm 55. I said, they can't believe that I've been doing parties all that long, but I literally have. And it shocks me a little bit. Well, have a look around the walls. You can see in my office some of the parties I've done over the years. But it's a real shame because all my earlier artwork and photos, there was no social media then. There was no video phones or anything like that, and I had a fire at my house in the year 2000 and lost everything from all those previous years, which was gutted about, which you could never get back.
How does that, without social media back in the early days, how do you get that, how do you grow your businesses? We've obviously just grown.
We're of the era that we kind of depended on social media, so it's also a lot different back then, not having the social media.
Yeah, it was
word of mouth, that kind of thing.
It was all word of mouth, and there was no mobile phones. Everything what I used to do, every person I used to meet when I first started working abroad, I used to take their name, address, and phone number. Of course, it was always home phone numbers, and I was very young. Everyone was living at home with their mums and stuff like that. So I had this book, a diary, and I just built it up, and suddenly, when you work abroad, you're not just meeting people from Surrey and London, you're meeting people from Middlesbrough, Grimsby, Scotland, Wales, Ireland, because it's such a cosmopolitan sort of country when you work abroad, and especially doing what I was doing, working on the streets and stuff, like PRing and dragging people in bars. And I just used to save everyone's number. So then when I used to go home after my summer seasons, I used to send everyone, do a flyer for a party. This is what I've been teaching Tommy, when I, Tom?
Do you think flyers are still important now as much as they were maybe obviously back
for me, being an old school promoter, now everyone's a bedroom DJ, everyone's a bedroom promoter, and it's so easy to do it. But for me, I've always loved having a database. I've loved the personal touch of sending out all these flyers, not just the flyers, usually the ticket design that I do with those as well. And always coming up with a theme party. I've never actually been one over the years for doing parties in nightclubs. I've always, where there's been so many parties, people, promoters doing parties, I've, as you can see, I've done churches, stately homes, castles, prisons, hospitals.
We were discussing as well. It's always that theme thing is.
It's what it kind of differentiates you from everybody else.
Yeah,
anybody can do, not anybody, but arranging a party in a nightclub or whatever, it's easier done. But when you have an iconic venue or a selling point like that, it definitely
it's an event.
Out.
It's an occasion.
Yeah, it's more memorable.
That's probably what's made social media so positive for you guys as well, because everybody wants to take photos. So if you go to O Beach and the aesthetic of O Beach or Wiki Woo is it just stands out so much. So the first people that go there, the first thing they're doing is taking photos and posting it.
Yeah,
so there's your word of mouth.
You don't even need to do it.
But it's really funny. This winter, myself and Tommy were updating my Trues Do's website, and we was looking at the videos, Tom, from when I started videoing my Trues Do's parties was probably late 90s, and you look at the quality of the videos now compared to it's oh my god, look at the state of it, Tom. The videos, it's shocking.
We were discussing with Tommy earlier about the old branding would be inspired on how we changed our branding, and because what you remember is when it was in Foot Asylum or something like that, and it's that tight fitting. It's how our brand's changed in 5 years. I think you need to keep evolving all the time, and that's probably what you've done with it.
100%. I think everyone's, the world's changed, isn't it? Everything's evolved. It's all this VIP culture now. We're guilty of it at all of our venues, but back in the day there was no tables in clubs. There was no VIP. Everyone was a VIP. There was no bottles. There had no big bottles on the tables.
Yeah, you had to queue at the bar.
Yeah, you just queue at the bar and stuff like that. There was happy hour and things like that. But look at the way things have changed now. People have this.
Do you think you could reinvent a business and just bring that back and say and actually go really authentic?
Do you know what I think? One of the most authentic things you can do now, which I loved, and I done it during the COVID years at the Wiki Woo. We've got a little club out the back called the Wiggly Woo. no phones party.
Oh yeah.
Right, absolutely brilliant. I took all the staff to my mate's villa the other day and he had a no phones policy and it was amazing. Everyone, when we all turned up, the security were taking everyone's phones off. Everyone was like, no, not my phone.
Yeah.
It's like he's chopping their right arm off. You know, we're all guilty of it. We went in the party and no one had a phone and it was brilliant. Everyone was talking, having fun, cuddling, laughing, dancing. Not one camera.
That sounds amazing.
You know, because now when you look at things like all these big sort of clubs, everyone's just got their phones out.
Yeah.
Which is understandable because usually the production and the music's brilliant and everyone wants to share it.
It's almost like a secret club almost because there'll be no photos from it. People are like, I wonder what it's like. Quite fancy that.
Word of mouth parties with no phones.
You've got that.
I know. I'm like that sounds amazing, doesn't it?
Count us in for that.
Because like I'm guilty of that. Even like subconsciously, I'll be like having a great time and I'll look at my phone and before you know it, you're sucked in and you're like doing something on your phone.
Quite unsociable, isn't it? I'm so bad for it because I get caught up with work. So I'm like emails, but I'm sitting maybe with a group of 5 or 6 people. I was like, they must be like, you're a miserable git on your phone.
Yeah, it's just a natural. I think it's just a natural reaction now, isn't it?
Yeah.
Pull your phone out. And
you know when your battery dies, I bet you still check your free go. You got battery's dead. Just check my phone.
People sulk when their batteries are dying and everything.
It's
just the way the world is, and we're never going to it's not going to go backwards. It's always going to go forwards, isn't it? Really.
Nah, it's mad.
Having worked in Ibiza for so long, like, what's like the biggest changes that you've seen? Obviously, we discussed social media, but is there any like other changes that you've seen like working here over the years?
The prices have just gone absolutely crazy, haven't they, really? And it's such a shame. And I think really that it used to be, I think Ibiza used to be affordable for everyone. And that's one of the things what we did when we sort of came up with our concepts for majority of our venues. We try and make it affordable for everyone, whether you're a bin man or a billionaire. I always say that. It's just like, some of the clubs now, what they charge for drinks, for entrance and stuff like that. And, people, not everyone can afford that. And I think if it's not careful, it's gonna, bite itself on the bum. It's like, changed so much. But again, most major cities now.
Yeah, it doesn't matter what city. It doesn't matter what city you go.
I think the biggest change is actually what I've noticed the last couple of years is the amount of families now coming to Ibiza. Right, obviously it's always been known for the party capital, but Ibiza is so beautiful. So beautiful. People are now doing hiking and things like that. You never used to hear of things like that. Now there's like, whatever, spas everywhere, meditations, yoga retreats.
We done a photo shoot a couple of years back up on the hills a little bit and hired a villa, and honestly the shoot was brilliant.
Beautiful. It was so beautiful.
You forget how beautiful it is sometimes, don't you?
See, like flying in, was it Sunday night we had? Yeah, Sunday night flying in, and just you don't actually realise how small the island actually is.
Tiny, 30 miles by 15.
It's tiny. It's tiny. Just flying right over the top. You see one side to the other. It's just.
But I think also that's what people like about it. It's not such a, everywhere's 15 minutes away. If you want to go to Playa and Bossa, you want to go to Ibiza town, you want to go down to the south, up to the north, everywhere's so accessible, really. Yeah. And but I think it's changed for the better.
Yeah.
I do, in a way. A lot of people say, it's not the same, it's not the same.
How do you spend your time? Like you just have full time in Ibiza and all, like, we've got these calendars on the wall here, like with the summer parties that are booked solid right through the summer, but what happens in like when it comes to like autumn, winter, like when the season
Number one, go and put my liver in an incubator. Right, try and get back
for 3 weeks.
I'll be honest, when I get home
you can get the yoga retreat up the hills and get that.
I know I'm actually going to go on Jason Vale's juice retreat after this winter. It's funny actually because everyone says, nothing must happen in the winter. For us, for the amount of businesses we've got, I think for me personally and the events team and the marketing team, it's one of the busiest periods because you're planning everything for the following year and everything. And one of the biggest issues is the staff. It's getting staff since Brexit and everything. It's been absolute nightmare.
We know how much Brexit's affected our business. We had a huge turnover in the EU.
Yeah.
And we still can deliver parcels to the EU, no problem. Ireland was a massive market, Germany and the Netherlands were huge for us. But I think it's from the customer's point of view, I think they're just a little bit frightened to order because we cover all the duties and taxes so that there's no additional cost from the website price. But they're still like, I'm just going to shop locally because I don't. It's the unknown. So I think they'll maybe order from one website and they'll get a knock on the door to say, you're due me the duties and taxes on this £100 parcel. And they're like, I didn't see that coming. It's like, and it's no couple of pound. It can be
it can be up to a few quid.
It can be a few quid. So
I know.
When they was getting us to vote for Brexit, they didn't tell us
No,
about
they
it.
didn't tell that.
They just rammed immigration down
Yeah.
our throats, so they didn't tell us all the other stuff that they were.
And that was one of the lads that I know that's based in Palma, and he said the same thing. It's like, I'm not getting the UK workers anymore.
No.
It's the Irish and the Scandinavians that are coming in.
And it's such a shame for people who just not necessarily want to work abroad, go and travel abroad.
Yeah.
You know, now a lot
course.
of people, it's stopped, like say the Brits going to Europe, spending 6 months in France, travelling around Spain, Italy, in 90 days. It's an absolute joke.
You spend summers in
Yeah,
in Mallorca.
when I was younger, I did the seasons in Magaluf.
And it's just nice.
It's just like I was at uni at the time, and like I said to my niece, I was like, "Oh, you need to do it. It's such an experience.
Such an
You
experience.
can't. Like
Yeah,
it's
can't
such a
do it
shame."
now.
The difference is you
Yeah.
actually can't
She
do it.
tried. She went out and she couldn't get a job anywhere because, like, obviously of Brexit.
It's been great for the Irish though.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
they're
so-
getting swept up, aren't they?
You come in O Beach and you see them with the Irish
Irish.
staff, which is
So is it just impossible to hire? Or is it
virtually.
Yeah,
you
you
have
just
to have
need a
like
visa.
you have to have a Spanish residency, a European passport, then you have to have an NIE number. If you're from England, for instance, and you haven't got any of those things, it's just not going to happen. You can get a thing called a digital nomad visa, but then that's really complicated, and you've got 25 grand in the bank, and a lot of people of 18,
Student
19, 20
time,
haven't got
yeah.
that, have they?
Yeah, of
So it's just made it really, really awkward and stupid rule.
Yeah, it's a
Let's hope they
stupid
change that
Yeah,
soon.
hopefully that will
Yeah,
change
definitely.
soon.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, going back to kind of like the COVID period, how did you guys find that? Like, must have been like it was a shock to the system for us as a business to say, like, literally having to tell the staff, like, everybody's just got to go home.
We had our summer range all ready to go, didn't we?
Ready to go.
Swim shorts and all that, and then
Yeah,
we were
and
like,
then-
eek.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it was just really difficult because we've got a huge workforce, and I think at first no one knew what to do.
Yeah.
And I don't think even the governments knew what to do. They were changing all the laws all the way along through it and everything like that. We just had to. There was a big thing because people pre-book, particularly ocean, well in advance. Suddenly, everyone thought the world was going to crumble, and everyone was, "Oh, can we have our money back? Can we have our money back?" So then we sort of thought the best way is just to give everybody vouchers.
Okay.
Say, listen, well, the world's going to come back round again. Things are going to get better and everything. And we honoured everyone's bookings.
Yeah, that's
You know,
class.
it's we was lucky. We were quite prudent before, and we had enough money to
I think that's
financially
like
survive. through
customer
it.
service is like it's
Yeah.
everything in probably your industry as well as ours. If you can look after the customer, they're going to
Yeah.
tell somebody, there's the word of mouth.
Yeah,
thing
and we
coming back.
managed to stay open. Nearly all of our business, not all of them, but a majority of them,
Right, okay.
we managed to
Oh,
stay
outside,
through with all the restrictions because all our venues were open air. People could actually be outside. Okay, it was nothing like the party what it was. There was no dance floors.
The travelling was tough, wasn't it?
Yeah,
It's
travelling was
just the
tough.
checks
Anytime there was a
and-
green window, I was like, right, I'm going.
Yeah,
I
you
came
are.
to Ibiza a few times. I was just like, I need to
Cairo's
go.
booking on holidays at work.
You had people sitting there sweating, like worrying it's going to go red. Like
Yeah.
that. Oh God.
But the back end of it, now we've come out the other side. Last year was incredible. This year is
I think
even
this
more,
year's,
more insane.
Yeah, we've seen that with our business. It's
Yeah,
like we're
yeah.
starting to get the growth again
Yeah.
that we've seen before COVID.
Yeah.
I know, like I was saying, obviously COVID was tough for us, but the first year of COVID was really good for us because people were sitting in the house doing nothing.
Yeah, ordering
And
online.
literally just ordering online. And I think when it came to the second year of COVID, people were sitting in the cupboard with just all the swing
Yeah.
tags on
Yeah.
the stuff that had never worn,
No.
has never been anywhere.
Guilty.
Right, there you go. So
I bought a lot of shit in lockdown.
I can imagine.
It's funny because now COVID, when you go out, it's not even a thing
No,
anymore.
I know.
It's how strict everything was, then to suddenly jump, boom, here we go again.
I mentally block it out. I'm like, that didn't happen.
Best way.
Definitely.
Cool. So what's like the next stage for you, and like more businesses or just more maintain what you've got? Is that quite?
Yeah, maintaining what we've got. We did, like say, like last year and this year, getting everything back on track and realigned again. We've sort of made a decision not to move forward really on any more hospitality businesses. Our next project really is Dubai. It's
Yeah.
something that we had.
I remember that. I remember
Yeah,
like
we
before
literally,
lockdown.
just as lockdown was about to
Yeah,
happen, we had a deal, we paid our money, we'd done all the architect drawings, we got the keys to the site, myself and my business partner, done a live video of us opening the doors, introducing the venue to the world, and got a billion sort of things, views around the world that did. And everyone was just like, wow, O Beach Dubai is finally happening.
That's what it's needing, isn't it?
And we were so excited. Then 3 days later, we get a call. Can you come in our offices? The landlords who we'd leased the land off of, and said, "I'm really sorry, guys. We've got to foreclose on your lease." we was like, what?
know,
Talk about timing. We hadn't even had it a week. And
Yeah.
they said, there's a legal issue with the land and everything. So you've got an option either to sit it out a couple of years and wait for us to finalise our court dispute, or we'll give you all your money back. And we've just hearing the early stages of the whispers about COVID and China and what's going to happen, what's coming in the next few months. And we thought, you know what, let's take our money and revisit it at another time.
We'll probably look at that as a bonus.
Yeah, so it's a bonus. You know, I'm a great believer in fate and everything. What will be. And so now things are better again. The last few months we've been actively looking for another location, which we've it's typical, like buses. We found one, just about to do a deal, then another one came forward and another one came forward.
The better ones.
And but we've sort of stuck with the original one.
Right, okay,
Yeah, we've pretty much sort of nearly very close to doing a deal there, and hopefully I can imagine probably in the next month or something that should be tied up, and hopefully
opening
there in 2024.
Shoot in Dubai again.
Yeah.
I love Dubai. Dubai is one of my favourite places.
So, you know, it's the next stop on the map for us, and
it's just so modern for everybody, I think.
And Mallorca, we want to do Mallorca as well.
Okay.
Yeah, we really thought, because it's close.
Has there always been a little, because you guys are so invested in business in Ibiza, has there always been a little bit with Mallorca of being like, nah, let's just stay out of that, or do you?
No, not at all. No, it's it's part of the Balearic Islands, and it's a huge tourism island, isn't it? Really, for Mallorca, and there's not really a lot there as in the way of party. They've sort of kept it quite sort of quaint, should I say? Really, I don't know what they'll think when we rock up.
Yeah, that's class.
But yeah.
Any more questions?
Thanks, I'm covered like that.
That's class.
Well, I've got one. You obviously said that you liked Wham and George Michael. What age did you finally meet him?
Which age?
Did you finally meet George Michael or Wham?
Yes, I did actually. I met him I met him a couple of times,
Did
George.
you?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I met him. I used to go out with one of the girls out of EastEnders, who's the mother of my daughter, Kiki, and they was having a big Christmas party, and George Michael was a massive EastEnders fan.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
That's amazing.
That's huge. And all the girls, oh my God, George Michael's here. And they said, do you know him, Tone? And I just went, yeah, of course I do. I didn't never met him before. So I said, do you want me to introduce you? And they all got nervous. So they literally all run to the toilet and do their hair and makeup and everything. So I did. I bowled over to him. I said, introduced myself. And I said, oh, all the girls want to meet you and all that. And he said, yeah, cool, no problem. And I told him who. And he was the one who got excited.
Is that right?
Even I said, oh, we're going to meet Charlie
and
all that. He was like, oh, I love Janine and everything like that. So I said, so they all come out and they just stood there, with them being all sort of celebrities and everything, that they was all like, but he was as well. He didn't know what to say. But he was, he was a really nice fella and everything. But I never got to meet him out here. But he used to go to a lot of the London clubs when I was younger and everything. But I wasn't the one to walk up. I was a bit too nervous myself then.
That's class.
But we do get some legends out.
I was going to say,
we get some great guests.
It must be so many celebrities coming.
Has there ever been a time that you were starstruck?
Do you know what blew me away last summer? Ed Sheeran.
Yeah.
Ed Sheeran, he's one of the biggest stars on the planet, and I'm lucky the last sort of 4 or 5 years I've come friendly with Ed a little bit. And he called me up and said he wants to come and fly over for the day. He wants to come to Ocean. And
that must be so surreal.
Like that. I was buzzing. And I thought he was just coming. He actually said he was doing a little video for his sort of life story, whatever. He said, Tony, I want to shoot some bits at Ocean. So I was buzzing about that, because all these pals all these original friends he's grown up with Ed as well. It's really nice. Shows the sort of type of bloke he is.
Yeah.
He's got all his old mates with him, and they all work for him on the tours and everything. But he didn't say anything to me about performing. So when I've met him outside and we've come in and we're having a laugh, having a drink, he said, do you mind if I done a little set? Would you mind? I said, he's asking me. Do I mind?
The sharp
Nah, sorry mate, we're busy. We're busy today.
I said, I'll fucking duet with you.
That's it, give him these microphones.
He said, but I don't want to sing all my own songs. He said, I want to do some fun stuff and everything. So I was like, oh my God, I can't believe it. And it just happened to be the day we had 3 musicians in the club and everything like that. So I said to them, and they were like, oh my God, this is like,
I think pools people at Ibiza, they just love it, don't they?
And he got up on the stage. And the funny thing is, he didn't know the words to the song, and he's got his phone out and he's trying to read off the song, lyrics off the thing, and he's just, for that was not a moment of being starstruck. I think it was more of a moment of pride.
Yeah, it's like the scale of it.
Myself and Wayne were like, wow, we've got a little beach club here in San Antonio.
Because again, he's posting that maybe on his socials, and somebody else sees it. It's like, I quite fancy
that's
that.
That's where you go in Ibiza.
And he said to me, this is going to go big. He said, 'cause he doesn't usually do that type of thing.
Sure.
And not just that, he was diving off the stage into the crowd, and It was just amazing. It was amazing also just for the people who'd just come on a Monday party, never knew nothing was going on, nothing special, and suddenly they've got like a live concert of one of the biggest performers.
Are like that. I think people just grow to them. It's just so authentic. Remember Lewis Capaldi done it in Buchanan Street in Glasgow.
We love Lewis.
He's so funny.
He just pulled up. He just had like rocked up in the middle of Buchanan Street in the middle of Glasgow and just started doing a gig. Yeah. Like that's just off the back of.
Well, I'm sitting this. I can't remember. This was about 4 years ago or something. Just when Lewis first sort of come on the scene, I hadn't heard of him. I'm sitting on my table. A couple of our Scottish hostesses came over and they said, Lewis Capaldi's in the queuing up outside. I was like, who's Lewis Capaldi? You know, I'm not sort of more into sort of the dance music, so I wasn't up to date on the pop culture. And they said, he's massive. He said, he's just queuing up and everything. I said, okay, go and ask him if he wants to join me. So they've gone and got him, and he's come over. This fella, you know, he's he's incredible, isn't he?
Yeah,
he should be a comedian.
I think so.
He should be a comedian.
Got your voice of an angel, and then he's just
and he
so
bought his ticket to come in here. He hadn't sort of contacted our PR company or myself or Wayne and asked for guest list. He'd actually bought a ticket up the road off a street seller and everything. Him and his pals and everything. You know, talk about down to earth and everything.
Yeah.
And then he come and joined my table, and I took him out. I actually took him to DC10s, and I took him. As you do. I took him to Ushuaia and El Row, and we had the best week. And I've been a few countries now to see Lewis, and we've come friends and everything. And top guy, love him. I think
he represents Scotland quite well for us. I'd say.
And what's really nice, actually, that summer he was supporting Ed on Ed's tour doing the last thing. So we flew home and we had the night out with a pair of them. So it was like from just having a little beach club, you end up doing stuff like that. So there's nice perks.
I feel like that's kind of like a reflection of what you were saying earlier, like how you wanted to create somewhere that like all walks of life can go to. So you've got like Joe Bloggs who works 9 to 5 that's 100%. Here for a good time next to likes like Ed Sheeran and Lewis Capaldi. You've created an environment
almost
that
what creates the pool where Ibiza, I think. If
everyone's like kind of on the same boat almost.
And I think that's the essence of Ibiza really. It's like, it doesn't matter what colour or creed you are, what sex you are, or what status you got financially or anything. Ibiza's for everyone. For everyone.
Like even just like sitting on Wiki Woo the other day, like you just see celebrities coming in, you're sitting there like be cool. There's like just people coming and going. Do you know what I mean? It's such a nice place. With
Wes Nelson's ring?
He was in the Wiki Woo the other day, and he went into the ocean outside. Like Wiki Woo was swimming and lost his 10 grand ring. So he was out with a snorkel trying to find it.
And he was like, so he was back out. Yeah, he was back out with the snorkel, and he's in the water. And we've left Wiki Woo, and he's swimming in the water,
trying to find that ring. I was like, only in Ibiza would something like that happen. Like fault in reality.
That's what I mean. Everything goes on. And it's for 18-year-olds and 80-year-olds. And I think all with the same common denominator. They want to have fun.
Good time.
And I think that's what makes it probably one of the most special places on the planet.
And
we're very, very lucky to all have it and share these experiences, aren't we, really?
And you're bringing up the next
generation.
My little godson, you can give him a wee mention on the podcast. So
Tommy Massey Mass parties, icy sunglasses.
Next big thing.
The future.
The next generation, I guess we're trying to do that.
And I love that. I love that. Obviously I'm 55 now, and like we've got Tommy and we've got all our other friends, Tom, all the youngsters and everything all coming through. And it's actually, that's probably been one of the things about my Trues Do's parties. I've done a party at Christmas, the wedding. I've done a wedding theme for it, and it literally was like a wedding, wasn't it, Tom? There was everyone there. There was all my old mates who get off their nut and stuff like that. My age and a lot older, in their 80s, and Harry and all that, all still partying. And then we've got like my daughter who's 18 and Tommy who's 21, all the younger lot as well. And now I think having that mix in a party on the dance floor, it's just such a lovely environment.
Yeah, sure.
It's just not just a load of
younger people enjoy like engagement with older generations.
They feel safe.
As well.
They feel safe.
100%.
I think that's the biggest thing. They feel safe when older people are around them and stuff like that.
Mind you, our model said yesterday, I reminded him as his dad.
I know.
And also the older people feel younger. So it's sort of so the balance of it works well.
Yeah, definitely.
And that's what I say about Ibiza. You go in Pasha, there's 18-year-olds. My daughter went to her first experience the other night, 18, and went to Pasha. Russia. And like, you know, I didn't go, and she messaged me at 4:00 in the morning on the way home. Dad, I've had the best night I've ever had in Ibiza. And that's like, you know, she went to a flower power night, which 18-year-olds went to flower power, but they absolutely loved it. So there's something for everyone here.
Yeah, class. No, well, thanks very much
for
taking time out of your busy schedule.
No problem. It's been a pleasure. Been an absolute pleasure, and good luck to your brand as well.
Thanks, mate. Just keeping it going.
Keep inspired.
Keep inspired.
Keep inspired.
Cheers. Thanks, Tony. Appreciate that, mate.
Cheers.
Appreciate that.
Thank you.